Hello there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jedi Knights, the official Star Wars podcast of Joy Clicks. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley, joined by my Chewie, Mike Connors.
See, we did a take before this, and I tried to do the Chewie voice. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me. Once
Of
again.
course. It's a pleasure on this nice sunny Monday.
That's right. Yeah. It's uncharacteristically hot.
For
outside.
March, yeah. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You were generous enough, as always, to fill out our Mad Libs for the week.
Yes. I as a writer, love to come up with all the adverbs and the adjectives and the verbs and nouns that I can. So,
Well, that's why we call this here segment Star Words.
because there's so many of them.
Yeah. So, this week, is this going back in order, or are you just picking ones you like now?
I think this is back in order now.
Okay. How to Use a Lightsaber by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Written by me. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. We were talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
I don't know what avenue to go because there's several different Obi-Wan voices.
Yeah, you could do
There's
this.
the Alec Guinness one. There's hello there. And then there's Anakin. We need reinforcements now.
I think you should do the second one, whatever the second one was.
I think that was Ewan.
Yeah, do that one.
All right. As a Jedi Master, I've taught some of the most talented hats in the galaxy how to climb with a lightsaber. Here are some tips for you. The most important thing to remember when you're wielding one of these precise rappers is to trust your forks. This way, you'll be able to sense your enemy's cell phone before it's too late. A lightsaber is not only for use in Jedi to camera combat, it also comes in handy if you find yourself in a sweaty spot. For example, it can burn through metal burgers, excuse me, Anakin. A convenient trick to have up your soda if the Empire detains you in a holding corn. While a lightsaber is a beautiful sweatshirt, be careful if you see someone sucking with a red one. This fireworks for the dark side. Finally, the most important part of learning how to talk with a lightsaber. Whenever you're in battle, fight sadly. Take note, Anakin. May the soldiers be with you, always.
May the soldiers be with you.
May the soldiers be with you.
I didn't know Obi-Wan was for the troops so hard.
Hey, he loves Cody. He
That's
loves his
true.
troops.
He does
loves
love his
Clone
troops.
Commandos. Thank you for that one,
No
Mike.
problem. We got news? We got things to talk about?
We do have news. It's similar to our week of news where it was the Pomeranian dogs, small but many.
What are you talking about?
There was some reference we made once about
Oh, do we have small but many news?
small
today?
but many news once again this week.
What's small about it? Is it the amount of news? Or
No, it's like
less consequence?
these are ripples, you know.
I see.
High Republic was a wave.
Uh-huh.
These are ripples.
I see. Okay.
But there's a lot of ripples.
the fallout.
First up, the day this episode comes out, Wednesday, March 11th.
Wow, good math.
Thank you. We're getting a new Star Wars comic. Starting out, issue number 1, Star Wars Bounty Hunters,
Cool.
which is one that I am excited for.
That's very cool. So what's it about? Who's
So,
writing it?
I can check who's writing it. I know on the cover, when they announced it earlier this year, it was Boba Fett, Bosk, and
Dengar?
I don't know if Dengar was on it, but I
Oh.
do remember there was a new bounty hunter potentially. But yeah, it's coming out this Wednesday. It is being written by, drum roll please, Ethan Sachs.
Great.
I can check what Ethan has written in the past.
Maybe he's never written anything for Star Wars before.
Let's see here.
Oh, he has.
Marvel's Journeys to Batuu in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge comic. And look at Poe's X-Wing from Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. So it seems like mostly lore stuff.
A limited amount of things that he's written.
Yeah, but Star Wars Bounty Hunters, that's the cover. Got
Looks
Boba Fett and
cool.
Bosk.
And some unidentified.
Valiance.
Ooh, Valiance. So when does this take place?
This takes place, it looks like, before episode 5.
Between 4?
No specifics on when the gap is, but it definitely is before episode 5.
Cool. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, not sure if I'm going to go out and get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the same day The Rise of Kylo Ren, the last issue, comes out.
Oh, it does.
Does it?
I mean, you're the one who's been following that comic
I'm
arc.
pretty sure, pretty positive. Can you look that one up too?
Sure.
Let's do on the air fact checking.
So how are you liking Rise of Kylo Ren?
I think it's pretty good so far. I don't know. It seems kind of slow to me. They do a lot of like time jumping in it, which is like kind of weird, since it's a comic book and there are a limited amount of pages.
It is issue 4 is coming this Wednesday as well.
So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely buying issue 4 of the Rise of Kylo Ren though. I guess since I've read the last 3, that I just want to read the ending.
Yeah.
I'm not like super compelled by it or anything.
Mm-hmm. Since you said it's slow, does it not feel like they're building up for another story to tell about Ben Solo right now, or?
It's kind of just confusing exactly what story they're trying to tell because they jump around so much in time.
Gotcha.
I mean, like I get the overall arching part of it. Like it's like this is not really spoiling anything. It's just like how he meets the Knights of Ren, which is not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's literally like in the first scene of the first. But yeah, you know.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Cool. I mean, it's one that I do want to pick up. Maybe this week. Maybe once there's a trade paperback to just get them all.
I could just give you them too.
That is also an option.
Yeah.
But Bounty Hunters, depending on the frequency of release, I might check it out.
Yeah.
And if it is like twice a month, I'd be fine reading about Bounty Hunters twice a month.
Yeah. That would be
So
cool.
curious to see how it goes. Next up, Rise of Skywalker. We have the official release date for digital and physical media owners. Digital, you will be able to buy it on March 17th, Blu-ray on March 31st, TBA on Disney+.
Do you think it's just going to be the same day you could buy it digitally?
I don't know. I really don't, because I think this is the first instance of a post-Disney Plus home release for a film of this scale. I think Lion King, the Blu-ray came out just a couple of weeks before Disney Plus came out, so like we wouldn't have had a barometer there. Endgame was available day 1, but at that point, I think the Blu-ray was already out.
Yeah.
So it is kind of
New territory.
yeah.
So I guess we'll have to see what they choose to do with this, if it's going to be out. I can't imagine it being out later than the Blu-ray.
Yeah, like I could see an argument, I guess, of why they would not want it out the same day as digital, just because you get the hype of it, of like people getting in there. But at the same
and, like,
time,
buying it.
yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, why would you rather have someone spend $15 once where you can get them in for like $7 a month?
That's true. Yeah. I guess this is just what avenue they want to take. But it would make sense if they were like, oh, we're going to release it on March 17th digitally and get like everybody to buy that. And then like people who want it physically will buy that. And then they're like, oh, we'll just put it on Disney Plus like
In April,
15th.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And get everybody to buy that, you know? So.
yeah, I could see them go a variety of different ways with it. We talked about it in the past as far as like consuming media goes, but like I'm not in no rush to get the physical version of this.
No, not at all.
My days of fleshing out my Blu-ray shelf are kind of done.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like overall?
Yeah, I'm mostly digital now with a lot of things.
It's the future.
It is, and I know there are people that are laughing at me right now, being like, "Hey, you don't own your media," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't, but it's really convenient."
Yeah, you don't really need to.
It's not like they're gonna take away Star Wars Episode 9 from me, you know?
No, yeah. If you can, yeah. I mean, I understand the whole like I want to buy something and like have it physically. Like I do that with some things.
Yeah, I get it.
I do that with like music mostly, but you know, it's fine to just buy things digitally. You still have it forever.
Yeah, in most cases.
In most cases.
But like, I know a lot of people, just tangentially, because this is a light week, people always point to the Scott Pilgrim digital game that was like a beat 'em up that released alongside the film. I think Ubisoft did it.
Well, like an actual video game.
Yeah, it's a video game based on the comic book art, like side-scrolling arcade beat 'em up, and it was available digital only from when the movie came out to 2015, and now legally you can't get it anywhere because there was a music license that expired. So like, this is Star Wars though. Like it's not.
Yeah, I feel like this IP is going to live on one way or the other, and Disney, I don't think will ever get rid of it.
Clearly they won't. But
Now that they shouldn't. I feel like it's best in their hands to survive.
Well, some may say otherwise because
Well,
we do have some new information coming out of this novelization
Okay, yeah, true.
about the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording.
So we have two bits of information. One may be true. One is definitely true. Which one do you want first?
I mean, I watched a YouTube video.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, from somebody who does those explainer type of Star Wars, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Star Wars Explained. It wasn't Star Wars Theory.
Mm-hmm.
It was some unnamed third party. And there was a video from allegedly the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, which it seems pretty plausible to me. I don't see why this is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but fact check me if you don't believe me, which I'm not really making a case for my own credibility here.
You're a journalist, Mike.
I know. I'm a journalist and I can't even. All right. But at least I'm giving you fair warning.
Sure.
So apparently the Sith have been trying to create Force dyads for a while, specifically Palpatine. He tried to create one with Darth Plagueis, I believe.
Okay.
And then his plan was to do one with Anakin, but it didn't work. And the Force dyad that exists between Rey and Kylo Ren is not of his doing necessarily, but of the Force, like just doing it on random.
Okay.
So he's been trying for a while to create this like Force dyad.
Okay. A few questions
Mm-hmm.
that this raises. One, is the rule of two connected here in some way?
I think he just wanted, I think he wanted him and his apprentice, or in the case of Plagueis, like him and his master,
Mm-hmm.
to be like uber powerful.
Okay. So maybe in current canon, that's why Bane was like rule of two, because like he knew concentrating all that power, like this is like a coin toss of a chance
Yeah.
that it's gonna be like a Force dyad, which like the way they present it in the film, I took it as this being an extremely rare thing.
Yeah, and I think that still stands. I
Mhm.
think it is an extremely rare thing.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting that Palpatine, for most of his diabolical career, was trying to like engineer Force dyad,
Yeah.
but it just never worked out until it happened without his doing whatsoever.
Yeah. So I wonder too if that's like an instance of we have like this. You know how like you have a relative that's like your uncle, but is not really your uncle.
Yeah.
And then like as time goes on, maybe they like marry someone in your family, and then it's like, oh, there's a more of a solid connection there.
Yes.
Do you think that just the proximity of Anakin and Palpatine for so many years connected some Force vibes, so that way their bloodline passes down to eventually connect them spiritually? Like,
I probably, honestly,
Disney, hire me.
yeah. You really need to be on like the story group.
Hey, that's why this show exists. This is me pitching my ideas.
This is me just pitching the ideas, Disney. Yeah, I think it's very possible. I just find it curious that it chose those two people.
Yeah.
Of
Out of everyone in the galaxy, yeah.
yeah. So whatever.
Interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
We do have something that is official, which may be in addition to what you said. Don't know yet. But Palpatine's son, the father of Rey Palpatine Skywalker. It's hyphenated. He was a failed clone, apparently, which, one, sort of just lays the groundwork for the state of the fandom recently, because everyone was like, Palpatine had sex?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I guess not.
No. His son did, though, so his like failed hot son that was a clone of himself
That was
able
just
to
Palpatine.
Yeah. Doesn't look like him, though.
Well, that means that his son was very Force sensitive then.
Does it?
No, I guess not.
Is the Force like a genome that's like hidden recessive sometimes, maybe?
I don't know. Actually, that makes a good point, because like
Skip a generation?
yeah, I guess it does. Does it skip a generation?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we don't know if cloned Palpatine, aka Sheev's son, I guess, was Force sensitive. We don't know that.
Yeah, just more weird stuff coming out of this book. I'm still not gonna read it. I don't
No,
plan on
absolutely
it,
not.
but-
This actually makes me want to read it less.
Yeah.
It's just like it feels like almost I don't know what's the word that
It's
I'm
like a
looking
fever
for.
dream.
a fever dream, but it's like it feels almost disrespectful. Like
It's a 9.
yeah, or just like to Star Wars. It's like just making a joke out of it now. It's like, oh, Kylo Ren goes to Mustafar and like meets this big spider, and
Yeah.
you know, now Palpatine's son is a clone of himself. Like,
Yeah. I don't get it, man.
it's like a parody of its own self.
Well, that may be seen as disrespectful by some people. We here on the show give respect where it's due, because sadly this week, today I think as of recording, Max von Sydow passed away at age 90.
He's an old guy.
Very old, well-respected actor.
Yes.
Um,
He played Lor San Tekka.
He did.
That's his only role.
Yes, but like, I have a strange nostalgia for him in a weird way.
Okay.
Because I remember when they released, I think he was in that initial cast photo of just the circle of seats reading the script,
Mm-hmm.
where like Carrie was there, Mark Hamill I think was there, or was he not?
Yeah, no, he was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
were all there.
Yeah, it was everybody. It was like JJ, all these
Yeah,
people.
pretty sure they're all there.
So I remember him being there, and there was all this speculation, like, oh, is he like an old Jedi that survived the fall of things? Is he just like an old comrade,
Yeah.
military-wise? And he, in my mind, he ushered in the sequel era, because he's the first one to speak, and he's the one that says this will begin to make things right.
Yeah. He has the best like quotable lines.
Yeah.
In all that movie. Then he dies like 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, but for the time he was there, he made an impression, I think.
He did make a very good impression.
More than most side characters in the whole saga, I'd say, for me.
Well, he had a pretty big job.
Yeah.
And that was like heralding in this new era of
Exactly.
Star Wars.
I think he did a real good job for it.
Yeah. It was kind of like the old handing off to the new.
Yeah.
Very obvious, but yeah.
Yeah, and the very we talked about it when we reviewed The Force Awakens, the literal read of the line, this
Yeah.
will begin to make things right.
Yeah, it's very true.
And for 7, it did, you know?
It did. 7 was the best one, in my opinion.
We went places.
We went places.
But, yeah, just a cool guy.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Oh, he was also the Raven. The three-eyed
Oh,
Raven.
in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
That is a show that exists that
Shout
I
out.
did not watch.
That show really had a bad end. But shout out.
You know what may have a bad end?
What? That was great. Good job.
It's where I'm going with it.
Okay, what has a bad end?
COVID-19.
Why is this Star Wars news?
Because, as you know, we've been eagerly anticipating
The end of days from the coronavirus.
No, Baby Yoda merch.
Right.
Baby Yoda merch is supposed to have been getting stocked alongside a new wave of Mando merch in April and May.
I saw some Baby Yoda merch at Newberry Comics.
Yeah, so like there's been some that's sneaking out there, but the massive crest of this phenomenon of a design
Yeah.
is about to hit, but apparently because of issues with the state of the world currently, might have to get pushed back a little bit before you see it on store shelves everywhere.
Well, it's that China production. They shut that down over there.
Yeah, this is not exclusive to Star Wars. You know, like next gen consoles are in debate right now.
Honestly, the entire economy is just like falling apart.
Yeah. So
On the day of recording, the Dow dropped 7 points, 7%.
but we need Baby Yoda to just use the Force one more time, you know,
Yeah.
and just rise the economy, give everybody the chance to like get money flowing again. We got to stock the shelves with Baby Yoda, get the people spending
Listen, Baby Yoda's the key to
everything.
Yeah, he's the in George Lucas's words.
Yeah,
Baby Yoda is the key to everything.
absolutely. But if you were looking forward to it, like me, if you were also looking forward to, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a potential leak of a new wave of Black Series figures.
I didn't see that. I thought that they announced that, didn't they?
I saw a leaked like stock sheet of like code names for things. One of them is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself, in his Beskar armor. And I haven't been able to find the normal Mandalorian that they released alongside the show, Black Series, since it came out.
Are you talking about like the carbonized one that they had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not been able to see that thing anywhere. It's like $80 on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But if they release a Beskar one, I'm there day one.
Yeah, I wonder if he can take off his helmet and see Pedro Pascal's face.
That would be nice.
They already did a face reveal on the show,
Yeah.
so
Imagine you're in one of the territories that doesn't have Disney Plus yet, and you're just walking through the aisle of a Target.
are there any territories that don't have it yet?
Well, it just launched in Europe. I'm not sure what is left on the list if there's anything, but Europe just got D+.
Damn.
So they
didn't
when
wait
we were
for
all
that.
live tweeting about Mandalorian.
They were just off Twitter, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
So-
I don't know how much international interchange Twitter has. A lot.
A lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. Can we move on?
Sure. Speaking of Mandalorian, though, season 2 has wrapped shooting.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw Dave Filoni came back for another episode.
that's exciting because I know we were mixed on his episodes.
Yeah, I think the first one was good. I think the fifth one was trash.
Oh, he did the 5th one?
I think that was like not to. All right, trash is like really of a strong word, but I think it was by far the worst one.
No, I agree. That's why I'm a little surprised.
Yeah,
that
and like
that was him.
I'm not sure if live action's really Dave Filoni's bag, man. I think like he should maybe stick to the animated stuff. I'm down to give him another shot though.
Yeah, I think he deserves another shot because I really like the way he set up the world because his episode was like the first one, right?
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah.
Just makes me think how much help he got on it though.
Yeah, like I'm sure Favreau was doing stuff like, hey, you want to let me do this one? This scene?
Yeah, I mean like, but seriously though,
Yeah.
like I don't know, and like I guess we just have to see what he comes up with for season 2 to really solidify my opinions on him.
Yeah, and it's cool that he'd be returning alongside the directors we ran through last week.
Yeah.
But technically, the wrap of shooting isn't official yet. We don't have an official Instagram post from Favreau or the Disney Plus account. But one of the cinematographers working on Mandalorian named Baz Edoin, maybe, posted on Instagram saying they're wrap shooting. So nothing official, no blue check mark, but it makes sense because a few days prior to this post, Gina Carano said that she wrapped shooting for the season as well on her Instagram. So makes sense that.
Did we know she was back?
I think we did.
I'm just wondering if that's news in itself.
I mean, I feel like we all expected it. I know you questioned it a little bit in some of our discussions since the season finished.
I mean, yeah, I just the thing that I've kind of come to realize with that show is that you don't know what's going to happen to it. So, like Gina Carano's character was really only in 2 or 3 episodes. We thought that she was going to be a much larger character.
Yeah.
Than that. So,
I think with the case of seeing the reaction to season 1, though, they may have been waiting on like some fan feedback to see what direction to take with some things. Because while season 2 did start shooting, they could have made a couple modifications to it all if it just wrapped shooting. So maybe she has a bit more presence now because she was a fan favorite character.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what the coming weeks look like for Mando news. It's probably going to be a little quieter than it has been. But maybe on May the 4th we get a little teaser.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out in October, right?
They could have a teaser in time by then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that does it for the ripples. We have a slightly larger ripple.
Okay, like a wave.
No, not quite a wave, but like if we were throwing like pebbles in a lake right now, we just picked up like a big rock and threw it in the lake. Now.
Okay, yeah.
Because
what's the big rock?
The big rock is a leak on the PlayStation Store. So, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the future of EA Star Wars games. In the post-Fallen Order success, Jason Schreier also mentioned, we talked about one of his articles saying that EA canceled another Star Wars game. That was a Battlefront spinoff. But at the end of that, he did say EA currently had a Fallen Order sequel in development, as well as a, quote, more unusual project from EA Motive in Montreal, Canada. Motive really hasn't worked on much independently. So far, they have done work on Battlefront 2, the recent Battlefront 2, not the original. And that's typical for EA. They've had a couple of their studios assisting DICE Criterion was another one, but they're back doing Need for Speed now.
Well, they were doing Battlefront stuff, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting that Jason Schreier said there's a more unusual project. There's a lot of interpretation to be made there, but
I wonder if that was him editorializing.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sure whoever was his source told him that, like, on background and stuff.
yeah.
And so he probably knows more details about it than what he reported
Mhm.
because he couldn't.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, because people tweeted at him after this leak of Star Wars Project Maverick appeared with key art on the PSN. At least the file did. People found it. They tweeted at him and they said, "Is this the game that you were talking about?" When he said it was more unusual, and he said yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what he means by unusual.
I think you may have to take it in the context of EA.
Oh, like saying this is an unusual game for EA.
Yes.
Not like this concept is unusual.
I think it is more likely it's unusual for EA. I think it's possible it's for either. But there's not much to go on. I did send you the link to the tweet that did show the key art. If you haven't seen the key art,
It's like a Star Destroyer, right?
yeah, it's like a red background. It might be given some taste of like a lava planet or
Can
something.
you look it up?
Yeah, there's a Star Destroyer, 4 X-Wings, and hold on, let me
Oh,
open
it
this
has the classic text, the classic Star Wars.
the Solo and Empire Strikes
Font.
Back tilt.
Oh yeah, of course.
So what we have here is interesting to me because I don't know why you would
Some
have
X-wings on the bottom.
Mhm. I don't know why you'd have key art for something that's called Project and have it uploaded to the PSN. I can't think of many other games that are titled Project something that get uploaded to a storefront, you know?
Yeah, you had an interesting theory about this though.
Yeah, so I want to get into that because if this is a weirder game, you know, maybe it's just like smaller scale. We did talk about rumblings that EA wants to have a small game out soon.
Oh, one thing about the Jedi Fallen Order 2 news, I think I saw on Twitter that there were like job postings for that.
Oh, cool.
But people suspected it was for that game.
That's exciting.
Anyways, yeah, you were saying.
That's really all there is as far as tactile evidence goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to bounce back and forth with you for a bit. What do you think this is? I did text you my idea.
Mm-hmm.
I said I think it might be a spiritual follow-up to Rogue Squadron, where it's just an X-Wing game where you're running missions with a squad of X-Wings, which I think is probably plausible. The fact that this company worked on Battlefront 2, which does feature dogfighting. Maybe they had a hand in that in the game. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's probably likely. Also, the name Maverick
Yeah.
kind of calls back. Was that Top Gun?
Yeah, Top Gun.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Top Gun.
I haven't either.
Yeah, but I know that that's what it's from.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have such little information that it'd be hard for us to like truly speculate on this because we literally could be anything. However, I do think with the name, which is the only thing that we have to go off of.
And the art. There's X-Wings and a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I think that's probably likely.
Empire-era Star Destroyer as well.
Empire-era Star Destroyer. Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What if, and this is going off on a tangent, this is a long shot here, a strategy game.
So
like Halo Wars,
okay.
but for Star Wars.
You know, I was listening to a podcast and somebody also pitched that idea, and I think I
Seriously.
would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Mhm.
Like a space strategy game.
Absolutely.
Like think about all the Clone Wars like animated series, like strategy like in space and like
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna approach this planet and take it this way and do this thing.
That'd be very cool because I realized I love strategy games after I played Fire Emblem on 3DS.
Okay.
And just that, like the tactile approach you take and the fact that it's turn-based to an extent where it's like you have as much time as you want to make your move, but you can back yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
I like the stakes there, and I would kind of prefer to see something like that as opposed to right now just an X-Wing game from EA, because we kind of have that already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if I really wanted to play an X-Wing game,
You just play Battlefront.
yeah,
Yeah.
which if anyone sees any of the tweets I ever put out ever, I did say I'd kill for a Poe Dameron Black Squadron X-Wing game.
Which would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but considering the word unusual is being thrown around here, the idea that this art is heavily referencing... Actually, now the more I look at it, it kind of looks like it's an asteroid field in space. You see, like, the pattern of everything?
They're like floating rocks and stuff.
So I definitely think it's not too far off, especially because the Maverick tied to Top Gun, that we are going to have an X-Wing focus.
Yeah, and I mean, you could still have that in strategy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm eager to see what comes of this.
They really pulled that one out of nowhere, to be honest.
Yeah, like...
But I do think it would be cool.
100%. And I think my biggest question now is, like you just said, out of nowhere, what happened? How did this leak? Where are we getting an announcement for it?
I think it was on purpose.
Really?
I mean, how else do you make that mistake? And also, like you said, it seems really like strange that they would like put for their key art and like the whatever sort of image they put with the listing, Project Maverick.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they just put...
I mean, things have leaked weirder ways. Like,
yeah.
Especially with games. I remember there was a Tomb Raider game that leaked because somebody was working on a PowerPoint presentation about it on a subway, and somebody behind it was like, hey, I know Lara Croft.
Oh, my God.
It's like, that's a new game.
Yeah. Or it's like someone leaves their iPhone at, like, a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's possible that it's just a mistake.
Like, whoever was managing it could have just had, like, this image in the wrong folder or something.
Ooh,
but
think about it. Think of it as like a trial balloon, though. Except there is no real information about it, so you can't gauge anybody's response on it.
Yeah. I love it when stuff like that happens, like when the Deadpool test footage came out as, like, a way to gauge hype. Absolutely. But considering this is a game that's probably close to coming out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If it is smaller scale and it is... The thing that just is, like, getting to me is the fact that it's called Project Something, and it has, like, official artwork.
Well, it's definitely, like, honestly, with the way Star Wars video games go, it is possible that we'll never even see this.
Yeah, but I just keep thinking back to the two different Schreier articles we talked about. The one that's saying it's a smaller game, and EA wants to have a smaller Star Wars game out soon.
Then it's probably this. I would think a strategy game would be easier to pull off than something else.
Yeah, and if it does end up being like an X-Wing shooter game, like Sim or something, I could see it be like Star Fox-esque, like on rails, or not on rails necessarily, but like you're running missions, there's a campaign, you're story focused.
Similar to Jedi Starfighter, I think that game. I think that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever comes of this, whenever it comes out, I don't know if it's going to be, if this was supposed to be a GDC thing, but that got canceled.
Yeah,
I don't know
who
if
knows?
we're waiting on the PlayStation 5 event.
I mean, like, with the coronavirus, are we going to get any events?
I mean, E3 might get canceled.
That's messed up.
Yeah, the people in charge of planning E3 this year recently said, hey, we're not doing it because of the hysteria.
Wait, so E3 is canceled?
No, the people responsible for making it a influencer event this year, the people in charge of, like, logistics of it, were like, hey, we're not doing it.
Oh, wow.
The ESA could hire a different company, but we're not doing it now.
I see.
So, lots of things in question. I don't know when we're going to see any news on this.
Yeah, who knows?
But you know what I do know we're going to see very soon?
What?
Our two faces talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars. After we take this short break, we'll be right back.
This is where the fun begins.
Welcome back. We are now continuing our watch-along and review of the acclaimed Star Wars The Clone Wars.
We're on season 4 now.
We are, officially.
Well, actually, wait.
There's 2 episodes of season 3.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That we finish off this week, and then we dive into season 4.
Yeah.
2 arcs. The first arc is the shortest arc I think we've seen so far because it's only 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's just as long as it needs to be. I think.
Agree, because we had a few conversations in the past about, like, you know, some arcs could just be 2.
Oh yeah, some arcs like definitely have like a middle filler episode. Most notably, I think the one with Duchess Satine and the middle episode when they were like on her ship. Was that necessary? Like, nah, it wasn't.
No, I like the character stuff there, but like having a third episode was like, okay, get along with it.
You could have split it. You could have done some stuff in one
For sure
that you needed to.
But this first arc, I think, recognizes the amount of time that we would be intrigued by the gimmick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because for the first 2 episodes, Padawan Lost and Wookiee Hunt, we're doing the Hunger Games. It's a Star Wars Battle Royale.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Like, they should have turned it into a video game way before Fortnite did.
Yeah, and honestly, that I think most of the conversation that's in my head when I was watching this episode about how we were going to talk about it is the idea of just the concept.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, watching this, I was like, damn, I would love it if we got like a Star Wars version of Predator. Like, it's a bounty hunter on a crash planet with this like squad just trying to survive against this alien.
Honestly, Christian, you need to become part of the story group.
I am graduated from college imminently, so
hire me. No.
please.
Yeah. So what? It's the Bosk creatures this time around, though.
When the first one popped,
Trandors.
Tridandodorus rexical.
Exactly. Lizard people.
Yeah. When the first one showed up,
Trandoshans.
thank you, Mike.
I think. Yeah.
We'll go with that. I thought Bosk was going to show up because we've seen him already.
Yeah, we have.
But
he's like hanging out with Boba.
Yeah, but I didn't know if this was going to be like a weird like cult of bounty hunters, sort of like some of the Mandalorian people end up forming groups of bounty hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious. Did not go that way. Went a very different direction.
Yeah. So Ahsoka gets like captured, right?
Yes, on the Battle of Felucia. And Anakin freaks out.
Naturally.
Yes. But I like that we were given an arc with just Ahsoka because I'm never going to get tired of seeing her character do stuff. I really like her character.
No.
And I feel like recently we haven't gotten a lot with her.
Yeah.
It was sort of not like shocking, but like it was strange seeing her ripped out of the natural environment and just be on her own as like a leader, kind of, where we've seen her lead clones before, but not lead survivors in like a Jedi way that Anakin would.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're all Jedi, though.
Yeah. I think it's funny that they clearly are like her age, but they said they were younglings. So like, how long have they been there? You know,
right.
Like, could Ahsoka have pulled a Seer Junda and just been like, "You're a knight now, you're a Padawan now,
Yeah,
you're my Padawan."
True. I mean, I guess she could have, but
I guess
I think she gave him something greater, Christian,
experience
and the will to live and fight on as a Jedi.
Was that a line?
No, I just came up with that.
Oh, I could have been.
I mean, so at the end of this, I know we're kind of skipping ahead, but do they all get to leave with her?
No, so the girl died.
Right. Yeah, she does.
First. But the Twi'lek and the Ki-Adi-Mundi Jedi got out fine.
So do they go back to the Jedi Order?
Yeah, so they go back to the temple. That's the end of the episode. Is
I forget that.
Alongside Chewbacca.
Yeah. No, I just remember that like Ahsoka gets off, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But
so what did you think of the concept? Like, were you into it? Do you think it did what they needed to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said before, it was very Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like, but I think that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy seeing Ahsoka on her own, and rise to that leader status that we know that she's capable of.
Absolutely.
But without the pushing of her master.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fulfilling for her, I think.
Totally.
As a character.
You know what was fulfilling for me watching this arc? Just all these Jedi using the Force finally.
I know, finally.
It's like, yeah, you don't have your lightsaber, so use your other tool.
Yeah, you can literally grab it.
Yeah. Even though I really appreciate the amount of Force use in here of like getting out of problems.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have their lightsabers.
Right. Right at the beginning, when the guy smashes the comm, she could have grabbed that from him.
Yeah.
You know? Unless his gloves were like magnets, I guess, because the Force doesn't work against magnets, as we've learned. But
Yeah, that one Trandoshan that like fell to his death and got impaled. Yeah, that was pretty dark.
that was rough.
And then like his dad like freaking out.
Yeah, well, there's like a weirdly dark undertone, I think,
So dark.
to the episode, to the arc, because the first introduction to it for me was when they were escaping that first group and Ahsoka force choked one of them. I was like, whoa.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh,
she like
wow.
lifts him up by his neck and he's like, ah.
Oh right. Oh,
And then she like tosses him aside.
It's the one that she kills, I think.
Okay. Because
All
then
right, maybe not.
right after that, the girl shows up to like also help Ahsoka, and then she's like choking him out to kill him, and she's like, no, you can't kill out of hate.
Right.
And then like a scene later is when they're brawling, and then the guy falls to his death.
Dude, oh my god, if I had the Force, I'd choke people out all the time. Just,
And you say you're a Jedi.
I'm joking.
No, but yeah, like that kind of set the tone, you know?
Yeah. No, it was pretty dark. I mean, just the premise of it, I think, is pretty screwed up, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
Yeah, and especially, what if you get dropped on there and you're not a Jedi? You're kind of at a disadvantage.
Yeah, so were those other two kids that Ahsoka got brought there with not Jedi?
I don't think so.
No.
They got picked off pretty quick.
Yeah, so I think it's funny that the Jedi, like the group of 4 Jedi were like, oh, we can't help these 2 helpless people.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's too much.
I mean, honestly, though, it seemed like the Trandoshans were formidable enemies.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So I liked it. It was an interesting introduction to this new facet of Star Wars that I think Clone Wars is really good at introducing to the canon.
Kind of bridging from things that we know to things that we don't know as much about. We knew about Bosk and stuff, so we knew about the species. But then, like, it was Chewbacca who got, like, dropped in on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewie.
Dude, Chewbacca shows up at every point of Star Wars. Like, he just is magically everywhere.
Yeah, he's like, he put him right alongside R2 and 3PO.
Yeah. And he, like, just creates, like, this antenna out of scrap.
Yeah.
To contact Kashyyyk.
So this was pre enslavement that we see him in Solo.
Right.
But he was enslaved again here pretty much to be game to hunt. So
Yeah. It was also before the occupation of Kashyyyk by the Republic.
Mm-hmm. So just not a lot of good luck for Chewbacca.
No.
But
But overall, I liked this episode.
yeah, I think they could have like
Or arc, rather.
I think the inclusion of Chewbacca could have been like forced, but I didn't think it felt forced.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a kid's show at the end of the day. It's like an animated TV show, so you kind of have to, like, suspend your disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh, yeah, sure, it's totally reasonable that Chewbacca showed up to
Yeah.
save the day.
Also, from a show perspective, this was the season finale for season 3.
That's underwhelming.
Well, aren't you excited, guys? Like, at the end of season 3, Chewbacca's here.
Wow, awesome. I'd rather see, like, I don't know, Obi-Wan and Anakin, like, kicking butt to end the season.
Sure. But we do get a little bit of closure at the end of the whole arc when Anakin and Ahsoka reunite on the landing pad outside the Jedi Temple.
And Yoda looks at them very affectionately.
Yeah, what was that about?
I think he just realized that Anakin is learning things.
Right. But I was a little confused because I thought Yoda's whole motivation to pair them up was so that Anakin can learn to let go. And this entire episode, Anakin's thing is like, where the hell is she? I'm not leaving until I have her.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was a little confusing for me. I didn't know like how to read the Yoda look.
Maybe it was more of a look of like, oh, he's too attached.
But he smiled like it was a feel-good ending.
I know, it
which
was a feel-good ending.
Kind of threw me for a loop, but
Maybe Yoda was like, maybe it's a lesson for Anakin that he might have to go through that one day.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, like we know the ending. He doesn't ever learn. It doesn't
kid.
work.
No. But yeah, no, I think overall interesting episode. It was cool to see Ahsoka take up the leader role. The next arc, kicking off season 4.
Oh my god, so good.
I went through an arc watching this arc.
So good. Such a good arc.
So we kick things off with Darkness on Umbara, then go to the General, Plan of Descent, and Carnage of Kel.
It's probably best we just talk about them all at once.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the longest arc, as opposed to just getting through with the shortest one.
Is that true? Yeah, I mean, it felt like it.
I don't think we've had a 4-episode arc.
Yeah.
In our viewing order, at least.
So talk about military tactics. Most
Yeah.
of it was about that.
Yeah, so that first episode, like the introduction to it all, I was like, oh, this is going to be just an experience to watch.
Yeah.
Like the visuals, just the way it's shot, it's so cinematic. Mike, I swear to God, I got to a point where I was like, wow, look how far we've come from the beginning. You know, like they're just really doing the right thing with these camera movements for this show. It just feels so cinematic. We're like shedding the cheesiness of it. Like, do you remember when, like, in the movie, in some of the first episodes, we'd randomly cut to like a first-person perspective of a clone using a gun?
Yeah.
Literally 2 seconds later, we get one of those.
We got one of those in this episode?
Yes.
I don't remember that specifically. It must have been not that fast or not that long.
I mean, it was long enough for me to notice it and be like,
you might have been on
you
might have been on the lookout for it.
No, I wasn't, because it hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't like a first-person video game view, but like it was looking down the barrel of that thing. I was like, all right. But yeah, that first episode I think opens real strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really sets everything up
Mm-hmm.
pretty well. Anakin like gets sent back to the Jedi Council for like this unknown reason.
So that's in the first episode, right?
Yeah, it's one of the very first things that happens.
Okay, because I was feeling the episode real hard up until that point, and then I was like, okay, we'll see how this thing goes with this guy.
Well, because Krell comes down.
Yes, and then Anakin flies off, and then we hang on Krell and Rex is like explaining the plan. I was like, oh no, are we going where I think we're going? And we do.
Yeah.
We bounce back from it because I thought this entire arc was gonna be just like Rex getting like stomped down into the ground. It's like, clones mean nothing. Rex, you're worth dirt. I'm in charge here.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, Rex just has to be like, you know what? We are soldiers, and we have to respect our Jedi masters.
And then that'd be the end of it.
That's what I thought we were going there, but
Yeah.
it was very satisfying to see the reveal that Krell was actually a lunatic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I didn't see that coming. I thought we were gonna just have to deal with Rex and the clones being like looking inward to themselves of like, what are we? Which we do get, but we get it in a satisfying way. When I thought for the middle 2 episodes it was just gonna be like, oh man.
Yeah, it's because like their own thoughts about themselves are like validated by like this outside order, right? Like they're the entire time they're like, oh, we feel like we're being treated unfairly and like not like human beings by this general, and like that goes on for like 2 episodes, and by the end, everybody else is like, yeah, no, that general was like a piece of crap. Like, you guys are totally right.
Yeah.
And like it very much fleshes it out and like put some realism in the sense of like the wider context of the galaxy. Like, not only are we as viewers viewing clones as like individuals, but like so did the rest of the galaxy in a way. And yeah, there were like some generals that didn't feel that way, but I feel like overall through all the Jedi generals that we've seen, Plo Koon, Luminara, they all treat them correctly. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The middle 2 episodes where it is just a lot of the back and forth of, this plan is not going to work, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I said it will.
Then they like steal the airplanes or whatever.
Yeah, and then Rex like proves him wrong, and he's like, noted. And then the next episode, we're back to it. I was like, man, I really thought I was frustrated. I thought it was going to end up of like, Rex has to learn to follow orders.
Yeah. Which would have been disappointing.
Yeah, so again, pleased with how it wraps up.
Yeah.
But
the one thing that I kind of was like kind of like rolling my eyes at a little bit was the whole, yeah, but like not only am I a bad general, I'm also a Sith. It was like, where did that come from? Like, I feel like it would have been more impactful and like would have provided for greater commentary on like the state of like the Republic at that time if he was just a crazy person.
no, I think you're right.
Like, if he was just like wasn't a Sith and he was just like an absolute like just crazy person, madman.
Yeah, I think that would have been what was already set up to be like a very interesting character with like layers when we get that reveal. I think it would have been even deeper if it was like sort of what we talked about with the Satine arc of like looking at the Republic from an outside perspective. So yeah, that would have been great. But
Like, it would have been so interesting if he was just not a Sith. He was just like a bad guy.
Mhm.
And then the Republic had to deal with that. Like, oh, like we can't blame it on some outside force, right?
Mhm.
Like, we can't blame it on like the Sith or like whatever, Count Dooku. It was just like, how do we address this problem like within our own ranks of like.
No, I agree. But the ending we did get, I felt was satisfying.
Yeah, me too.
But the journey to get there, following Rex, I liked this.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I was rooting for him so much. I think that's where the frustration came in
Mm-hmm.
of just seeing him like it's like, man, I know you're right.
Right.
I know you're right, Rex. But
Right.
like seeing him deal with the dissent among his own troops.
Yeah, I was gonna say even dealing with that at some point with Fives and Jesse,
Yeah.
big time.
Absolutely, yeah. So seeing all that again, focusing on the clones for a little bit after a while of not, specifically on Rex and fleshing more of his character out.
Yeah.
I really appreciated about these 4 episodes. It was the did it ever like wear thin for you at all as far as like where we were going with it or like when
It felt like it was slogging a little bit,
Mhm.
like partway through, when they were just going back and forth. Like, I think this is a good idea. No, I think this is a good idea. But it came full circle, I think, once they like retook the air base.
Yeah.
And then like all the mutiny stuff happened, which I
for
thought
sure.
was interesting.
Yeah, once we got more in depth with the internal conflict for the clones is when I was really like in. But yeah, I before I knew where we were going with the arc, I was really excited like when they kicked this episode off. I'm like, awesome, we're getting like this really unique planet. It's Anakin, he's going to be kicking ass with
Yeah,
Rex.
exactly. That's what I thought too.
And then we get ripped away.
Which I guess, like, you know, how many Anakin arcs do you need?
I would have liked one like this.
Yeah, I guess
you know?
so. I mean, I'm sure we'll get something like
Yeah,
that.
I think what they've done so far with all the Anakin stuff and the clones, and it's been great. And I think the fact that I was thrown for a loop just speaks to the fact that when they do it well, they do it really well.
Yeah.
So, but this was a good arc, I thought.
I thought so too. It's probably one of the better ones that we've watched.
It's up there.
Yeah,
for sure.
We should like go back through and see which are our favorite arcs.
Yeah,
and do a little something on that.
definitely. We can do that once we wrap up the show, the series. But yeah, any final comments on these 2 arcs? This one, the first one.
They're dark, both of them.
Yeah, I'm
visually and
yeah, I mentioned it I think last week of like not recognizing what show I was watching.
it's getting grittier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, a lot of just like the violence too, like Chewbacca like curb stomping that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot where I'm seeing the praise people gave it for feeling mature, I guess, for a kid's show.
Yeah.
So, especially now.
I'm starting to like it a lot more, to be honest. Not that I didn't like it before, but that maturity gives it like an extra level.
For sure. So, that is what we watched this week.
We got a long list for next time we record.
We do, because we're taking a week off. So, Monday the 16th. Wednesday the 18th. There won't be an episode because I'll be out. Mike will be working his worky work.
That's exactly what I'd be doing.
So when we come back, we have a lot of ground to cover. So we are stacking the plate up like it's Thanksgiving Day.
Yum, yum.
Season 4, Episode 15, Deception. 16, Friends and Enemies. 17, The Box. 18, Crisis on Naboo. 19, Massacre. 20, Bounty. 21, Brothers. 22, Revenge. Then we're going to Season 5. Season 5, Episode 2, War on Two Fronts. Episode 3, Front Runners. Episode 4, The Soft War. Episode 5, Tipping Points. Episode 6, The Gathering. Episode 7, A Test of Strength. Episode 8, Bound for Rescue. Episode 9, A Necessary Bond.
We're doing a lot of them.
We are?
Blitzing through.
Yes, I think it is possible. I can't imagine there's going to be much news So when we do return, it's probably just going to be a Clone Wars recap episode.
We're really thinking ahead here.
Yes. Planning strategically, because the sooner we catch up for season 7,
The better, honestly.
absolutely. And from what Jack has told us, we have maybe like 1 or 2 more episodes before we start getting into the territory that is worth getting really excited about.
Yeah, so I think we'll be hitting it at a very opportune time.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we will have updates on Twitter.
How ahead of schedule are we, really?
I think we're on pace. I can check after the show and let you know,
and
just because I don't want to do that much math on camera.
No, that's fine.
But as of right now, that's the lineup for the next 2 weeks. Our Twitter at Jedi Knights JC, at JoyClicks, or at Chris N. Buckley, wherever you want to look for the information. If we do choose to finish off season 5, if the time allows,
Blasting on the old social channels.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But we are ramping up, and it's exciting.
It's exciting. We were talking earlier, and the reason why we're doing more, not only because we're skipping a week, but because like when I finish watching the ones that we have agreed to watch for the week, I always want to watch more.
Me too.
And it's getting to the point where I just want to watch them
Yeah, I want to see where the rest of this goes.
unfettered.
So that is the homework for now. If you enjoyed the show, thank you.
Yeah.
Mike, where can people find you online?
You could follow me on Twitter at Mike P. Connors.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, we have social media for the show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris N. Buckley. If you're listening to the show, you're on audio podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or a number of others that exist.
Rate us.
Rate us, review us if the service allows it, because I know when I listen to podcasts, surprisingly sometimes I'm not doing anything else. Even though a lot of people do queue up podcasts.
I can't do that. I mean, like I listen. My prime podcast hours are like in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like brushing your teeth,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready for the day. While you're driving, prime podcast hours driving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do whenever I have the chance to be cooking, podcast time, walking to classes or work, podcast time, any sort of travel. If I'm grinding out a video game, podcast time.
Really?
It's always podcast.
So I guess it's always podcast
in my
time.
house.
when Christian's doing work, it's usually on podcasts. Therefore, that's podcast
Still podcast time, so never ends. But yeah, and if you're watching us here on youtube.com/joyclicks, where there is a boatload of content coming up, if you're a fan of games or other Star Warsy things.
Definitely.
So check that out if it would so please you. But this is, once again, a highlight of the week for Clone Wars, for talking about it with you.
Yeah. No, it's so much fun.
I love it so much.
We got some good episodes coming soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that is going to do it for this week. But until next time, we're fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
May the Force be with you.
General Kenobi.